What's going on? Welcome to Squirrel Town Talk. It's your boy, Mr. Squirrel Town himself, and tonight's guest is music and entertainment attorney Debbie Egel, aka Street Debbie. That's what I call her. So, yeah, right now she's a little bit behind. So we're just gonna go into a couple promotions, and then we will get back and get Debbie on the line. So, just sit tight. Every time I hear that, I just love that.
Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Pour toi, toi et moi, on s'envole là-bas, donne-moi. Encore une fois, je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore.
Hey, whatever she was doing when she was doing all this, shout out to Daffy. She was getting it in. Yo, that video will be out November 25th, Thanksgiving. That's Daffy Duck. She lives in Paris, France, and the name of that song is Je rêve de toi. I dream of you. So yeah, like I said, we got Street Debbie that's gonna be tapping in real soon, hopefully. Let's see. I just got okay. So she got the time a little bit behind. That's all good. But so before we get her on here, I got a little promo of hers. She did a interview with Uncle Boogie. So check it out.
Reality is
Yep.
people go to majors and they think they arrived and they sit back and they get shelved.
They get shelved. And let's talk about what shelving means.
Means you get signed to a major label deal, you got this big check to get an advance, anywhere from $150 to $1 million, depending on who you are and how many fans you will have and how hot your music is. And they're going to take all that money back when they sell your stuff, by the way. But you get it up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you tell all your friends, I arrived. Now you got the entourage.
Right.
They're going everywhere with you. You're balling, so you got to spend the money and pop the bottles, right? But in the meantime, you're not doing the work. And you were one of 20 people they signed, and they only expected maybe one person to make it, so they can throw that money away. You can't. You can't squander that opportunity. You got to work as hard as you worked when you were in the streets to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have somebody like The Weekender or Chris Brown, and they're on the major label, you're nowhere near them when you get signed. Like, keep it real, even with yourself. There are levels to this game. So, like I said, it's like you're on the farm team, and then if you do a little something, maybe they put you on the minors, then I guess there's AAA, so maybe you move from the minors to AAA, and maybe you get to the dugout and you never play.
You're on the bench.
Like,
yep.
Right. So you really have to work this every step of the way. There's no sitting down. There's no sitting down. Look at Cardi B. She doesn't even sit down when she's pregnant.
Well, there you have it. You know, the stuff that she talks about, her knowledge, I'm telling you, it's like off the charts. And with her being a licensed attorney and an esquire, it's crazy. But yeah, she has been doing her thing for a while. I'll go into her bio while we wait. Let's see what we have. So Debbie Egel is an attorney who has run an independent label for over 7 years, along with managing legendary and upcoming artists. She is knowledgeable of economics of music, and the do-it-yourself process. She has experience finding music, negotiating the purchase of music, writing producer contracts, registering music with the performance rights organizations, producing music videos, and soliciting radio play. She also has developed a marketing and promotion strategy that includes social media, merchandising, and public relations. She has also been on the road and in the recording studio and can speak to the challenges of both of those settings. She works in the area of copyrights and trademarks for artists, along with writing and reviewing music contracts, including musician group agreements, management contracts, performing contracts, record label contracts, producer contracts. And then as a result of that, she started her own company in 2018, and it's called eMusic Entertainment. That's Debbie Egel. So yeah, she's been doing her thing for a while, and like I said, it's a up one up when you have that type of advantage when you start your label, and she has the legal background. I'm telling you, it's big. A lot of people don't know, they don't understand. Everything's about the paperwork. You can cut corners for only so long, but when it really matters, it's all about the paperwork. And a lot of the times you just got to understand, I run into a lot of people nowadays that, they getting disappointed real quick about these features. I mentioned something a couple weeks back about buying features from artists that don't promote the song. And, she covers those type of contracts where you have to, that artist that you buy that feature from would have to cover the song. They would have to promote it on their social media handle. So, you want to deal with people like that. At certain times of your career that you just need a lawyer. You need that entertainment lawyer with that background. And she's one of the best. But yeah, I was looking at some stuff on Instagram the other day from an artist, and he bought a feature from a popular artist down in Houston, and I guess when the song came out or before it was getting ready to come out, he asked that artist to help promote it, and they told him that he would have to pay more to promote the song. And so he went on Instagram, did kind of a live, and was just like, how am I ever going to be able to make money if, I got to pay you to promote it along with paying you to feature on it? And, that's what you run into a lot of the times. Okay. Okay, so she's coming. She's trying to get set up now. So just hold tight, Debbie. Oh, there she is. There she is. Hold on. What's up, Debbie?
I thought we were going on an hour from now, but
Yeah,
I made it.
I know. That's that East Coast stuff, man. You need to come to the Midwest. That East Coast time is a little bit. Y'all too fast for us, man. Y'all way too fast. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you tonight?
I'm good. We are live. So we are live and direct. I read them your bio. I played the video with you with Uncle Boogie. I was telling them about how important it is to know the game, and I said we have the right person online tonight to give us some real game. So now that you are on, we're happy to have Street Debbie Egel.
There you go. Here I am, live in person,
live and direct in living color,
right from New York City.
From New York City. So tell us, Debbie, how you got started.
Oh, geez, you wouldn't believe it. I got started with High Five, and I was actually going to try to call Mac because he's in Texas, right? And ask him to jump on tonight. Sorry, the dog wants to be on too. Say hello, Mia. Say
what's
hi.
Up, dog?
This is really Princess. She gets treated like a princess.
I bet. She looked like one. Yeah.
So I was going to call Mac, but of course I thought I had another hour to do all this. So, so I started with High Five. Mm-hmm. And, I grew up in a very musical family. My mom was a singer. My brother could sing. My other brother plays every instrument, is in a band, writes music. if I could sing, I would have been Beyonce.
Oh, wouldn't we all be Beyonce? What's going
So,
on, JR? Shout out to JR. He just tapped in and said, "Love you." He loved what we doing on here. Shout out to JR. He's in Japan. That's my big cousin JR.
wow, straight from Japan. What time is it in Japan?
Oh, that's a good question. What time is it, JR, in Japan? Tap in. He gonna probably tell me in 3 hours.
Yeah, so that's how I started. And then, I was involved with High Five for a long time. And then at some point, I just decided that I wanted to try something different, maybe a little younger, maybe a little more innovative. I don't know, something different. And I don't know, I started my own record label. I work with some artists. Well, first I started managing some artists. Boy, that was an experience. Like go from High Five, legendary A-lister group High Five, to independent artists nobody knows. I remember going from like the green room with 2,500 to 3,000 people outside, hobnobbing with all the A-listers, to being in the basement of some little dirty bar in downtown Manhattan. That's a showcase that by the time your artist goes up, everybody's already left.
Yeah, they done left already. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Really, like, I don't think I really understood how hard it is for people to actually break through. Like, I've learned a million lessons in this game, some at my own expense, some just watching other people. And I think I'm really good because I always like the underdog. So, like, I want to work with people that have the fire in their belly, that really want to try to make it and try to help them to get there.
Yeah. See, I love that. You know what? That's the reason that I got back in management too. Because I used to be a rapper 15, 20 years ago. And then once I got back in it after a hiatus, I wanted to help people. I wanted to educate.
And it's crazy because so many people I meet, they were in the music game in one way or another, and then they all took a hiatus, but they always come back because it's their passion, right?
Exactly.
And that's what makes music unique, because most people are passionate about it.
Absolutely. So you started with High Five, and then you, like you said, you were managing local artists or independent artists. And, how did the shift come, with you having that legal background, and, what kind of boosted your momentum with managing and, doing legal things in the industry?
You know what? It's kind of interesting. Like, I always say I'm a street attorney because I like being in the streets, right? Like, I like being in the clubs. I used to be the party girl, right? Like, I wanted to go to the clubs, hear all the new music, try all the new dances.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to sit in a bougie white shoe law firm and just write contracts. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be in the scene.
Right.
So I think it's really, really hard for independent artists to make it. Like, I'm just going to keep it 100 on here. Really, really hard. I think there's about 7 or 8 criteria that it actually takes for somebody to make it. I don't think I've met an artist in the streets yet that has like all the criteria.
Right.
I have a few artists that if I put them together, maybe they could get that
them all
criteria.
Together, like a gumbo.
Right. But I think that the thing that I look for the most, or I think is the most important criteria, is what I call fire in the belly. Like, if you get that burning desire that nothing or nobody or nothing will stop you, and you're open-minded and you're willing to listen and you're going to keep improving. So maybe you have 50% talent, but you got a lot of humility and you got this real energy, no sense of entitlement.
Right.
And I want to use I always say this, it's like Cardi B kind of style. Like, Cardi B grew up in the Bronx. She was a stripper. She busted her ass. She wasn't that good when she started, and look at her now. But she stayed in the studio. She took advice from people. She listened. She didn't think she knew it all. She definitely had a style. She had a stage presence. And she pushed and pushed and pushed because she wasn't taking no for an answer for herself.
Right,
But
right,
not in that entitled, arrogant way.
right.
And look at it today. So, but it all began with that real earnest fire. I meet a lot of artists, but they don't have that fire.
Well, see, and that's another thing. Like with you knowing this, I mean, you got the experience to know it. How important is it to be a business or be business minded when you become a artist?
Well, I don't know. You know, I put together this book, right? I have this book. I got it right here. Like, can I bring it in? It's
for the record.
Right? For the record. And this is really, it helps artists, labels, independent labels, and managers to get a foundational knowledge about the business. I even have an online course to teach independent labels, managers, indie artists how to navigate this business, like from start to finish. And I'll tell you a fascinating thing. I've run the course a couple of times now online. I started like during the pandemic. It kind of like this book and this course is kind of like the way the artists get into the business, right? They go to the studio, they jump in the booth, they try to spit. People may say they're good, and then they think they got this talent. So now they're just gonna stay in the studio and just keep doing it, right?
Just keep doing music.
So to me, that's a hobby. That's not a business yet, right?
Absolutely.
I wrote this book as a hobby, and then I started teaching it online as a hobby. And maybe this year I really started to look at it more like a business. But prior to that, I was teaching it as a hobby. And the fascinating thing is that people have come through my course: independent managers, independent labels, independent artists. When I wrote it, I initially wrote it for independent artists. Guess who shows up at every week, asks all the right questions?
I bet you everybody. I bet you all CEOs. I bet you managers, everybody.
No, the momangers and the independent labels. The artists come in and out and they don't even stay focused.
They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen.
They don't have the fire in their belly.
Right. See? Okay. And see that brings up a point. You know, I talk a lot, you know, I do lives and stuff like that about having your focus right, number one, listening and educating yourself. If you're going to be in this business, you got to educate yourself. So what's the most important thing I would say, like if I was an artist coming to you and I wanted you to help represent me, what would you need from me before you would actually take me on as a client?
Well,
what would you need to see is what I would say. Need to see from me as an artist.
Okay. I would say that and people hit me up all the time, right? I'm going to say this. It's going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the truth. Like, first of all, the younger you are, the better you are.
Absolutely.
In my mind, right?
Yep.
And factually in this business.
Yeah.
Because if you're young and you've got some talent, then you got a shot. Actually, somebody named MJ, who I know from when I was running with High Five, called me about this artist that he's working with. And just before I got on here, I was sitting on my couch looking at her. And I have to tell you, I haven't been that impressed, and I can't even tell you how long. The girl plays the guitar, the drums, the keyboard, and she can sing on top of it all. And she was even DJing. And she looks like she's about 15. And she's got to be in Texas because MJ's in Texas.
Right. Wow.
And then I went to her Instagram to follow her. That's how I saw all that. And I saw Naughty by Nature was following her. Now, I never heard of this girl before in my life. Right. And I was like, wow, now that girl, I would be like, okay, let me get on a plane and go to Texas to see her.
Right.
That looks like he's a DJ. Because I saw her practicing with her father scratching.
Right. He's teaching her the game. See, he's teaching her the game. You gotta learn from somebody. You can't just come into this and think you know everything or just not listen to people. Like you have to learn the game from somebody or educate yourself. And I'm a firm believer of that, man. But it's like you said, it's a lot. And you don't want to hurt people's feelings. What you just said about being young, I've had a million people tell me that. Like, not me per se, for me, but it's like for the people that I'm managing or people that's coming out to reach out, they like, look, man, this dude is too old, or she's too old. We need young. They want to see young faces. They want young talent. They want people that they can actually teach. You
And
can't teach grown folk.
that's one thing. But the other thing is this, like when you're 17, 18 years old, you're in the clubs. You're spending money to go to concerts. You're still looking for your boy or your girl, right?
Right.
You're out there. You're buying merchandise. You're spending money on drinks. You are spending money on music. When you get a little more grown, you got an apartment, a car, a wife, kids. You're taking care of all the bills before you're spending it on money.
Yeah.
Spending money on music. So it makes sense to grab the younger audience because not only will they follow you for your life if you're a young artist, but that's who's spending the money. That's who's got the time to use all that discretionary cash for entertainment and enjoyment. Grown folks don't have that. And even when they do, like, I'm not saying that I don't spend money on things that I enjoy. I just spent $400 to have a front row ticket at Jason Bonham, which is John Bonham's son, who was the original drummer from Led Zeppelin, is doing a show in Westbury this Friday.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go, but I want to be in the first row, right?
Yeah.
So I spent money, but it's nostalgic, right? So you have a lifespan with them, but I'm not running out to do that every day. I'm not in the clubs every day. I still like to go to a good show, a good festival, but I'm not there every day.
Right.
And if I am, I got to take a nap.
Yeah. It's too much take too much energy out of you. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So I got a question. A friend of mine, started managing. And for a long time, when you use that word, I always remember one of the guys that, kind of mentored me a little bit when I first started managing. He said, "You're a babysitter."
Yes.
So with that being said, like we had conversations before, and I told that, this manager that, look, you have to allow your group or your artists to, show people that they are serious. Oh, we lost her. Okay, let's see if we can get her back. So we on the line with Street Debbie, CEO, music and entertainment lawyer, has a record label called E-Music Entertainment. She's giving us some good games, so don't y'all just leave just yet. She know a lot. She's been around a lot of people. Also, if you're not on Instagram or on her, there she go. I was just telling them how your social media is popping, and for them to follow you on Instagram. But what I was saying was, I tried to kind of take this manager up underneath my wing to teach them a little something. I was telling them how important it is for the artists that they manage to show who they really are versus always bringing the manager afloat. Always saying, well, you got to do things through my manager, or basically depending on the manager to do the artist's job. Uh-oh, we can't hear you. Having a little technical difficulty. You did. I can see you, but I can't hear you. We can see, but we cannot hear. I can see. Can you hear me? Let me see if I can send this while we wait. 1 second. But yeah, like I said, she's on social media. It's music entertainment, doing a lot of big things with a lot of big artists. Her company's thriving. But one thing about managers is that everybody doesn't need one. Especially if you just up and coming, you don't need a manager. Let's see, she's back on. Okay,
Can
we
you
got you back. I can
can you
hear
hear
you
me
now.
now?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you. Uh-huh. Uh, yeah, but did you get that question or you want me to repeat it?
I did hear you that you were
Okay.
talking about the manager. And I
Hmm.
would say that, when you're not really doing anything or making money, honestly, you don't need a manager because artists think the manager is their mother or father, right?
Right, right,
Like they expect you to pay the bills, they want you to do everything for them. They haven't even earned the right to do that yet, right?
right, right,
So
right,
it's like the a manager is supposed to get paid on what you're making. If you're not making any money, the manager is not supposed to be paying for you. You're
exactly.
supposed to be helping them to earn a living because they know something about the business and they're working your project.
Right,
So I think a lot of independent artists have it backwards because usually what it happens is it's usually their homeboy, their homegirl, who they
right.
say is the manager. And there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that because along the way, that person may learn how or grow into that. And I
Right,
always
right,
tell artists, like, if you can get somebody to run with you, buy them a book about the music
hmm
business, let them learn. And then if you
hmm
get the opportunity from a real manager, don't desert them, but don't leave that opportunity on the table. Just make them
right,
the road manager and take on the new manager.
right,
So
right, right.
that's how it works.
Was the last part we missed it? Getting some
Yep, yep, yep.
feedback. Say
Can
it
you hear me?
again. I can hear
Yep.
you. I don't know if it's my. It might be my microphone that's doing something weird. Let me see. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Hi guys, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm having some technical difficulty tonight.
You want me to go out and come back?
Uh, yeah, but no, you're right. And I've told several artists that
But it's on your
it's a
way.
time and place. Can you hear me?
It's on blah 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 blah.
Let's see. Yeah. Thank you, internet. Thank you. Is it still doing the garble? Yeah. See, it would be a time where I'm getting some people on here that the internet wants to act up and not show us some love. But where I was going with that is, and she'll be back, is that there's a time and place in your career to have a manager. If you just want to bring like Debbie said, bring the homeboy on board, make him an assistant or make him a part of the entourage. Hey, he could even be security if you want him to, but don't put him in a role that he can't, handle. Managers do a lot. They know a lot. They manage. That's what they do. They manage your career. And if you are not in a position to have one, then don't get one. Save yourself some money and headache because just like anything else, they will drop you and you can drop them. The good thing about being a manager is that I don't have to, it don't matter if you pay me or not. In the contract, it'll say that I can, at any given time, we can end this relationship. So why even start one if you're not going to finish it? Plus, before you go and hire a manager, make sure you know what managers do. Managers aren't your babysitters. They're, it's a time and place to have one. It's a time that you tell people to contact your manager. One thing I had a problem with one client, and he wasn't even an artist. He was actually in another line of work where I had to keep telling him to tell them to contact me. Somebody posted, I like this. It's very educational. Thank you. But I had to keep telling this guy to have the people that were trying to sponsor him or trying to endorse him to contact me, your manager, because that's what I'm getting paid to do. He was going about business on his own where it was like he needed me, but he was acting like he didn't. And it was causing problems and friction between not only us, but it was confusing the people that were actually trying to put money in his pocket. And anytime that happens, it's a problem because if it's like a lawyer, you can go into certain situations without having one, but if you have one, you know that they're going to take care of business. That's how it is with being a manager. If somebody hires me as their manager, when it's time to negotiate things, they know that I'm a handle business. But if you go in there on your own, you on your own. You didn't ask me to come with you, and I'm not going to force myself into a situation. So when it comes to these artists that think that managers are just supposed to be at every show and they supposed to be at this and they gotta be at that and they gotta orchestrate this, that, and the other. That's when you go out and you find people to do other things. You don't need your manager to be choreographing, movies and or in the studio with you when you're getting ready to lace a track, or they don't need to be around for all that, because time is money in this industry. Time is money in the world in general. So just remember that at the end of the day, what do you say? Okay, at the end of the day, the less people that you have to like involve in your career, the less money you have to pay out. But when you need a manager, get one. But if you don't need one, don't get one. Um, and it's like that with everything else. If you got people just freeloading, hanging out, whatever, I respect that. Respect their position, but don't put them in titles that they can't handle. Because when it's time to really do some business, that you're going to expect them to handle that business. And like I said, what ended up happening with me and that person, that client, was that I ended our business relationship because I felt like I was kind of in his way. It was like at one moment he trusts me enough to be his manager and he paid me to be his manager, but then in the same breath, he didn't trust me enough to negotiate the deals that would have helped him. And I ain't trying to step in nobody's way. I'm never a hater. So what I do is I took myself out the situation and told him the best of luck, and I hope the best for him. But he had a lot of situations on the line where I'm pretty sure once I was out, his partners, the people that were actually trying to put money in his pocket, probably wanted to know why I wasn't around anymore. And that can jeopardize a lot. That most definitely can jeopardize a lot when you have representation and then all of a sudden they disappear. And that just doesn't look good. So just remember, it don't matter how, whatever image you're trying to portray in this music business, when it all comes down to putting money in your pocket, you got to be about your business, man. Otherwise, you look foolish out here because people will put money in your pocket. They'll surprise you, but if you ain't ready for it, then don't get in this, because once it's, it might be a once in a lifetime opportunity where, for example, dealing with that person, it was several companies coming to me like, we want to, invest in this person. We want to give him so many dollars, X amount of dollars a month to just promote our brand. And it got to the point where it was a bidding war. And it just sucked because he really wasn't ready for it. And when I came to him about everything, it was just like, well, whatever, man, whatever we need to do. But I'm like, you just don't understand. It's more than just that. So, okay, I think we got Debbie back on.
You did.
All right, we got you back on.
Got me from my computer now because that was a disaster. All right,
Yeah.
Let's start all over. Hi, I'm Debbie Egel, attorney. calling in from New York City.
From New York City. But
Yes.
No, I was just telling them that, what you were saying. Basically, if you don't need a manager, don't get a manager.
Right. And I would say that, it's really important, which I think it doesn't happen very often with artists, independent artists, is that you really have to learn your skill, right? So if
Yeah.
you wanted to be a plumber, you would have to go to plumbing school, become a journeyman, then become an apprentice, then become a master plumber. That takes time. And you're being educated and
Mm-hmm.
you have a mentor. Like at the minimum, you have to buy a book on songwriting. You have to buy a book on how to construct a rap. Like
Yes.
I
Yes.
listen to so much stuff that is just pure crap. I have to say, honestly, in the last year, I don't think I've met one single artist that I would consider a songwriter.
Right.
I would
Right.
not. Not to say they don't have talent, not to say that they can't sing, not to say they can't rap, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't produce. So they're buying
Mm-hmm.
beats or they have producers that just throw beats at them that they try to get on. Like I
Yeah.
have a really great producer that actually creates music to fit the person, not has a computer full of beats and here, take this beat. No, it
Right.
doesn't work
Take this
like
beat and
that.
rap on it.
Right. So you'll have to learn how to practice your skill.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's a talent. But guess what? My brain was a talent from God, right? But I still had to
Mm-hmm.
go to law school to learn how to be a lawyer. I didn't just say I'm a lawyer because I'm smart. I had
Right.
to
Right.
go to school, read, write, practice, moot court, take the bar exam, come out into real life, practice some more. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how you get a skill. That's how you get paid for a skill. And it doesn't happen overnight. Most of these people who win the Grammys say, "Oh, thank you so much for the New Artist of the Year award, but I've been in the game for 10 years. But thank
Right.
you to
Right.
my label, blah, blah, blah." Pay attention. They're not new. They may be new to the world because they
Mm-hmm.
finally popped, but they've been in the game forever. You
Man,
need
I
staying
swear.
power, consistency. You need a team. You need to understand the business. There's no way you can do the business because there's too many moving parts. But you don't even know if you're getting beat if you don't do the business. And
Right.
then,
Right.
like the two messages I want to deliver as an attorney to artists who are listening is A, you have to do split sheets. Like, regardless of anything, if you're not doing split sheets,
Yeah.
I'm calling you out because that's just ridiculous at this day and age. If you don't know what a
Mm-hmm.
split sheet up is, you better hit me up in the DM on
You hear
my
that?
Instagram, eMusic Entertainment, so I could send you one, or go to my website and go to my blog. The one about split sheets, you can download a free split sheet,
Mm-hmm.
emusicentertainment.net.
Yep.
And second of all, besides split sheets, like I can't even tell you how many people call me about record label deals.
Mm.
I want to say a couple of things. I know it's hard out here. I know a lot of people don't have money. I know they're looking for the bank, they're looking for the bag, they're looking for the
Mm-hmm.
investor. Because you finally meet somebody who says they are any of those things, doesn't mean they're the right person for you.
Yep.
Go to their page, check who their artists are, check their artist Spotify. Are their artists popping or are they just tell you they're popping? How
Right.
long have they had those artists? Are they the same as you? Because if they are, they're not promoting them. They've already got it. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many things you can do. Go look at their publisher's account. Are they making money? How many songs have they actually really written? Meaning, if they say that they are going to be a production team, are they really writing songs? Because if they are, then you can check it in their ASCAP or BMI. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many things that you should do before you send that contract to an attorney. But let me say, if you think they're for, you better send it to an attorney because one word could change the whole meaning of the contract. And you're not even going to know that because you didn't go to school. Just
Yep.
like I'm not going to know how to change my flow on a rap because that's not what I do. Right.
Right.
And then the other thing is that you have to respect people's time in this game. I know people don't have a lot of money, but everybody wants everything. I don't want to say for free, but the
Right.
way they come at you, like my DM is full of music that people send to me unsolicited. You want me to talk
See?
about that?
Oh my God. Please, please talk about that.
I swipe it left. I don't even pay attention to any of y'all,
Yep.
right? Like, first of all, you're disrespecting me because you don't know me and you just
Mm-hmm.
send me a video or send me a link. Like, I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing to go listen to your stuff.
Yep.
Second of all, You don't even politely say, "Hey, Miss Deb, do you listen to music? What's your process? How do I get music to you?" You don't know me from Adam. You're sending
Nope.
me videos. You're sending me these long DMs about how great you are. Well, then why are you coming to me if you're so great? I guess you're already popping. You don't need me.
Right.
Like, really, this business is about relationships. You'll have to build relationships, whether it's with the DJs, whether it's with the blogs, whether it's with the production teams, the producers, whether it's with the stage crew. You got to build relationships, which means you got to be respectful of people's time. You can't just be running up on them and saying, "Hey, listen to this." Guess what? All the people who take those CDs or those drives or the credit cards that you can put it on, guess what they do? They throw them in the garbage. They don't listen.
Yep.
I'm telling you honestly, because you're not respecting them. You are better off trying to get their Instagram or their email or their phone number if they're going to give it to you, and actually have like a real conversation, like a real person with them. You would get further that way. And maybe you should ask them, what can you do for them instead of what you want them to do for you?
Yeah, because it's selfish when all you want is them to do something for you.
Correct. And that's what goes on here. And you know what it is? Because nobody's educated on the music business. Because if you know you're actually pissing people off, you wouldn't be doing that. You're just trying to get heard. I get that. But you don't even, a lot of indie artists, indie managers, even indie labels, they don't know what the etiquette is.
Well, I put I'm in the interrupt, but I put no solicited music on the front of my page. And it was like I got more after that. I was like, look, man, I'm not listening to this. I'm
That's
sorry.
because all they saw was solicited music. They didn't even read the no.
Yeah, I put asterisks and everything, like trying to put it caps locks. It didn't even matter. Like they was like, I'm still sending it.
You're getting it whether you like it or not.
Yeah, like forcing. They force it. They try to bully you, with the music. But I wish they would just educate themselves a little bit more. That's the one thing I can say is, back when I was doing music and, I started a label early. I was like 24 years old, but it was only because my aunt, and rest her soul, she taught me because she was up there in LA in the big city. You know what I'm saying? She was like, look, before you start being a rapper or singer, learn this stuff first, read. And that's what they missing. They missing it.
And I would say, of course, there's something to be said for money and advantage, right? Like, think about this, like Beyonce or Michael Jackson. Let me use those two examples first, right? They had their families that were driving them from day one. And they started as kids. You take Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift, same thing. We'll take that on the white side. They started as kids, but, their families had money, maybe a little bit different. They had money, and they literally put them, into songwriting classes, teaching them how to perform, doing all the things that they needed to do for them as kids.
Right.
But they started at a young age, but they learned the craft. Michael Jackson learned the craft. Beyonce learned the craft. That's why they're megastars, but they started young. So if you want to have a shot, you really got to learn the craft first and foremost, because I say this all the time to independent labels, managers. I tell artists, you're a dime a dozen. Sorry to say. Millions people out here with talent. Go look at American Idol. Go look at The Voice. 10,000 people line up. They pick maybe 3 people out of the 10,000 in each state, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
those
they
people
do.
Don't even make it to the finals.
Well, and I'll tell you firsthand, I did security one time for the American Idol tour. And you're right. It'd be like 15,000 people show up and they'll take like 10 of them. And they'll be like, you're on to the next round. And it's crazy because you got lines and lines of people, but that's the industry. That's it.
And I would say that's talent. That a lot of those people who are in that line have talent, but it takes more than talent. Like, you can find talent on any street corner, but you have to have stage performance. Guess what? You can't walk around with a resting bitch face. Excuse my language.
No, you can't
do it because nobody wants to put up with it. You go to the next person who's nice, right?
Yeah.
There's so many factors you will have to think about. Like, you have to be humble. You have to practice. You have to learn. You have to be teachable. You have to, I would say, aside from, let's say, Biggie Smalls and maybe a few other cats like Fat Joe, right? But they're rappers. For the most part, you got to stay in shape because how are you going to get on that stage and dance and not get winded? And to
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
rappers out there
yeah,
who are rapping on top of their vocals, you're
oh,
terrible. You're not
yeah,
professional. Sorry.
no,
Take a show track, leave your leads in, turn them down, and leave all the verses out, and leave the ad libs in, and actually rap like you can rap, not like you put together in the studio.
that's
Right?
textbook what you just said. I swear to you, who did I talk to? A couple weeks ago, I told him exactly what you said. I was like, make sure, because you, like you said, rapping on top of your words, that's amateur hour. That's what that is. That's amateur hour.
It
Yeah,
sure is. And have great production. Like get your
yeah,
song mixed and mastered, because guess what? Most people don't. And if
nope.
you have good production, you can do a good show, you get a real producer and you get it mixed and mastered, guess what? Here's the secret sauce. You're going to stand out because most people don't even do that. So there's a ton of crap out here. And okay, maybe if you're an upcoming artist, you actually don't even know the difference because you all you're around is people who
It's
act like that,
trash.
right?
It's trash. Yeah.
But there's a difference, let's say, between a Bruno Mars song and a song that gets sent to my DM. There's a huge difference.
Right.
And that's
Right.
why they're the A-listers and other people aren't. You have to seek to be at that level, even if you're not, so that you can actually get noticed and get people interested. Because let me tell you something, this is an expensive game on top of everything else. So you need to have that kind of interest for people to want to put out their money.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
And the game's
and
different
million
now.
power.
Right.
You don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
And it seems like that's what's all happening right now. A lot of one hitters.
And then I think, getting signed to a major for a lot of independent artists is great. Maybe people don't agree with me when they hear that because they have all this bad information about majors. It's like going to the treasury and going in the vault and being able to use their money. That's what going to a major is like, right?
Yep.
And I've done major deals. And I say to the artist, you have not arrived. You just got to play ball on the farm team. You're not even on the minors yet. Forget about the dugout. Forget about that. You're nowhere near there. You're signed to a label that Chris Brown is signed to, or Khaled, or any of these people. They're making the label money, right? You're not even in their league yet. You've got to work harder than you worked in the street. Because if you don't, guess what? They sign 10 people. They only expect maybe one to make it. And you're getting benched too.
Yep.
Right? So this is a game of consistency, endurance, and hard work.
It's like sports.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Professional sports. Just because you get drafted don't mean you don't ever play. So
Correct.
yeah. So.
That is so correct. That is exactly what it's like. And that's a great analogy because a lot of people understand sports very easily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
But
Right.
I mean, it's less than, I don't know how many percent make it after, so it's just like that with the industry.
Now they're putting out that movie about Serena and her sister and the father, right? And the father's played by Will Smith.
King Richard, I think it's called.
Yeah. And you could already see in the coming attractions how hard he drove them, how hard they worked.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what it takes.
That's what it takes. And if
And
you
it
don't
doesn't-
think it, go ahead.
And you don't need a father or a mother to do that. You have to do it. Right?
Yeah.
It's better if you got your parents' support and they actually are pushing you. It could potentially be better because, they care about you and they're pushing you or helping you fulfill your dream. But if it's your dream, it's your life. This ain't a dress rehearsal. You have to go for it. That means work hard, seriously hard. Learn the business. Go to my website, emusicentertainment.net. Read all the blogs. Invest $20 and buy the book. If you want to take it to the next level, invest a couple $100. Take the course. get coached by me. There's a lot of things you can do, but if you don't do those things and you spend your time in the studio hanging around other people who don't know the business, you're going to age out. You're going to waste a lot of time, and you're not going to save any money. You're actually going to spend more money learning in the school of hard knocks.
And like I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna say the age because I don't want to piss nobody off. But my philosophy is once you get to a certain age, if you haven't made it to at least the B stage yet, it's too late. So
well, I got to the point where I won't even sign anybody. Like 25 is already over the limit for me. It's over the limit. Like 24, you're on the border already. Like one of the first questions I ask artists is, how old are you? And I'm sorry, like if I'm going to invest my time, my resources, my energy, my money, my knowledge, I need at least a tiny shot of getting something back out of it.
Yeah, some of that back.
Right? So if you're an older artist, then I expect you to have a job and fund your career. I'll point you in the right direction. I'll tell you everything you need to do. I will help you, but you're paying your own way, man. It's real simple.
That's facts. That right there is probably one of the realest. I mean, everything you said was real, but that hit home because I try to tell people, and I try to be nice, but you can't be nice in this game, and it's just, you said you hit it on the nose. Like once you get to a certain age, you're financing your own career. I'm not financing it for you.
And it's crazy because, I'm going to go back to that situation when people are hitting you up in the DM, right? Because I probably today alone I don't know how many people hit me up already today, right? But there's a DJ. She was very nice. She sends people to me. They always call. They always reference her name. Could be for a lot of different things. I've done a couple of book publishing deals. So a woman called me. She said, DJ gave me your name and number. She hit me up in the DM first. I told her to call me. We had a very nice conversation. Her son's in prison. He wrote a book. She wanted to know if I could help him. She wanted to know if I'd be willing to take a call from him. So I guess she set it up. He called her. She called me. We're on a three-way. He says he has 2 more books that he wrote. It's a series. He thinks it could be made into a movie. Could I help him? So I don't know, probably because he was in jail and I have a big heart. I was like, well, I can't help you because I have no idea how you write or what you write. But if you can send me something, I would take a look at it for you. Because he's got limited resources. How is he doing anything, right? So he tells me that he's got a book out already on Amazon. So I say to him, all right, I'm going to go to Amazon and buy it. Because he was trying to figure out how he could send it to me. And I was like, let me just support you by buying the book. So I bought the book. They sent it to me. And I read the first chapter this morning. I was heading into the city. I was on transportation, like I don't know.
Subway or bus?
Express bus, right? So I said, okay, perfect time to read it. And I opened the first page. It was good. It was exciting. It's definitely an urban novel. And by the time I finished the first chapter, I had to go back and read it again because I didn't understand it. And what I realized is he must have put 20 different things. Like somebody got murdered in the first chapter. Somebody was dealing drugs. I don't know. There was all kinds of stuff going on in the first chapter, right?
Right.
These are probably people he really knows in his real life. But I don't know these characters and they're not developed. I can't even follow it because there's so many people in the story right now. I can't even figure out who's who anymore because I'm already confused with 20 or 30 things happening.
Right.
And now I took the time to buy the book, read the book, and now I have to deliver my message to him, which is I can't take this to any of the publishers I know. It's going to hurt my reputation, but I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice, but I earn the right to give it to you now, is that you have to develop your characters. I can't keep track of what's going on in here. But even now, I have to think about how I'm going to say this because I want the guy to have hope. I want him to try to continue to write. And now I got to even spend time thinking about what I'm going to say to him and say it in a way that it's helpful to him, not hurtful. And honestly, like all this is an expenditure of time, money, and resources. I'm not making anything on this.
Right.
Maybe
It's free
bettering the
game.
human race a little bit, but the guy could get pissed off. Like
Yeah.
most people don't want the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you really have to respect people's time, energy, and money in this business. Maybe in any business you're in. If you go to an expert,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be prepared for what they say to you, whether it's a DJ, an interviewer, a TV person, a producer, a record label. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't get mad because you went to them, you asked for help, and
Yeah.
then they tell you something that isn't what you wanted to hear. You got to be prepared. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say thank you and actually take their advice and see if it makes sense for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So
Right?
yeah, I mean everything. Like I said, the stuff that you're saying now, I've said it 1,000 times to people, and they were pissed off. So I'm glad that someone of your caliber is saying this, and I hope people are listening because and I'm gonna continue to send this out and share this as much as I can so people can actually hear this. But yeah, this is a dog eat dog type of industry.
Ooh, this is like, listen, before I did this, I used to be a nurse. Before I became an attorney, I was a nurse. And
Mm,
I represented 8,500 nurses in the state of New York. And I was into politics, New
right.
York State politics. Like, I helped run Elliot Spitzer's campaign. I did a bunch of different things, right?
Yeah.
And like, I have a picture in the front of the newspaper of me, my best friend, and Barack Obama. Like, I was
Nice.
into it,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And that was a dog eat dog business. But unfortunately, those skills were transferable because you
Hmm.
come here. And I realized the other day, this whole game is politicking. They
Oh
make
yeah.
it networking, but it's politicking.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely politicking.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
it's the same thing. And
Hmm.
if you think politics are nasty, this is in some ways worse. And I would say I've only been in the urban space, so I can't talk about anything else. So I'm
Hmm.
speaking from my experience that when people are in survival mode, I'm going to say that again. When
Yeah.
people are in survival mode, even if you are really helping them, even if you really want to change the way they see the world or they're living,
Hmm.
when they're in survival mode, they're going to do what they need to do to survive, even if they hurt you.
Absolutely. Yep.
So when artists are in survival mode, I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it. I'm not willing to take the risk anymore.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it's sad, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, if I was homeless and I had kids, I would do whatever I need to do to put a roof over their head. And
Hmm.
I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm just not going to expose myself to it.
Right.
I
Right.
understand it, but I'm not going to be party to it.
Because you don't
And
have to.
no, but that's a lot of what goes on in this world.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
take people's money, they give them bots instead of real spins. They take
Hmm.
their money, they say they're doing marketing and promotion. They're eating so much money off the top that people aren't getting their money's worth. Like,
Hmm.
there's a million things. A guy came the other day. He might be listening, except that I have it on posted on my thing at 9 o'clock, so I don't know. I told him to come. He paid an attorney to review a contract, gave the money to the manager. Manager told him he checked out the contract, it was good. I was
Oh.
very passionate because he didn't give it to me. He had
Right.
been talking to me. He told me he was moving ahead with the deal. I asked him what kind of deal it was. He told me. I said, "Damn it, send me that contract right now." I was so annoyed. So I
Hmm.
took one look at the first or second page. I go, I don't know who's lying to you, but you're being lied to. Did you talk to the attorney? Because I know the attorney ain't going to lie to you. No, I didn't talk to him. Well, I don't know if the manager took your money and ran off with
Hmm.
it. I don't know if he gave it to the attorney told him, and he didn't tell you. But what
Hmm.
you think you're signing is not what you're signing. It's
Mm.
not. So that was like a whole big thing. And he actually was lucky enough because he signed it already that he got out of the contract. He made mention to the person about, you know, that he was reaching out to another attorney, and the guy dropped him. I
Yeah,
said, "What does
yeah,
that say to you?
yeah.
What does that tell you?"
You can't trust them. You got to let them go. You can't. You got to let them go. And that's what like this. It's vultures out here when it comes to when they put. If you're gonna sell your soul for money, I don't know. I can't trust you. It's two things that when it comes to having a relationship, friendship, is like if your weakness is females or money, I gotta let you go because I
Wow.
can't trust you because it's always gonna be there. Those two are
Yes.
always gonna be there. So like if I got a relationship with you and I see that weakness that you'll turn over on me, we done. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
how it is in this business. Like
Oh yeah.
those two.
And
So
I'll tell you
yeah.
something else I learned that I definitely was not a firm believer of in the beginning, but I'm totally committed to it now. Like I felt in the beginning that there was, we're going back, many, many years, but I felt that there was a way that you should hold yourself out as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I felt like, okay, if you're an R&B artist, you need to be dressed like an R&B artist. You need to act a certain way, blah blah blah. But what I came to realize now, many years later, is that really people need to be who they're going to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because if you're painting them with this beautiful colors to make them sellable,
Mm-hmm.
that and they're ugly on the inside, it's coming through anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
come out. Yep.
maybe you can get them to the label to be looked at, but then they get to the label and they act like themselves, and the label doesn't take them anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really better for the person to be who they are. If
Mm-hmm.
And you have to find your own tribe. So if, let's say, you like dogs, then you could be on all these sites that have dogs, be interacting with people about dogs, telling them
Mm-hmm.
what you care, you rescue dogs, whatever you do. And then you can say somewhere along the way, oh, and I do music and I have this song about dogs. You guys should check it out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then that may be a tribe that follows you because they already like you. And then they like dogs, and you did a song that had something to do with the dog, and then you do another song that has nothing to do with the dog, but they still are gravitating to you. Or if you
Mm-hmm.
like crocheting, or if you like mosh pits, whatever it is, you have to be your true you. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you can't, if you the artist, can't build a following yourself, it's never going to work. And
Yep.
I'll tell you this story, and it's the absolute truth, and there's proof. So, actually, this shirt is part of the proof. So, there was a point when I decided I was going to go on Instagram to try to teach people the business in some level, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm thinking, okay, I'm an attorney. I have to act like an attorney. So at that time, I had done a series of little vignettes about social media, like about Twitter or TikTok or Facebook or all this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I had this shirt on. I have a bunch of shirts like this. They're very comfortable, different colors and stuff. And I was
Mm-hmm.
wearing it sitting at my desk, acting like an attorney, trying to be professional. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was putting, on the side, you can look at my Instagram and it'll say Twitter or Facebook along the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated doing it, like with
Mm.
a passion. I hated doing it.
Right.
And then I met this woman. Her name is Danya, and she creates content and stuff. And she's like, Debbie, you just have to be you. Like, you have to be you. And I go, but I'm an attorney. I think I'm supposed to act a certain way. She goes,
Mm-hmm.
no, you got to act like you. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. What does that mean? She said, well, what do you like to do? Well, I like to dance. I tell her all these things. And if you
Mm-hmm.
look at my Instagram now, you'll see me in hoodies. You'll see
Yep.
me in my backyard dancing, all this crazy stuff, which is the true Debbie Eagle, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Do you know more people come to me on my Instagram for legal services that I've never met in my life because they like Debbie Eagle?
Because you being you.
So it's not that I have to sit at a desk to get clients. I just have to be me because whoever
Mm-hmm.
likes that is coming to me. If they like that, I'm probably going to get along with them. If they're
Right.
looking for a bougie guy behind a desk in a suit, I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
one.
Let's
I
see. That's
even
just a
cursed. I
person.
don't even know if I cursed yet, but I cursed.
No, you have, and it's all good. But so shout out to Chloe. Chloe W said, "Yes, yes, hoodies, my girl." Um, so
Yes,
we get
hoodies. I love
yeah,
hoodies.
hoodies. I'm about to send you one of mine, my Skrill Town hoodies.
For
But
real?
oh
I'll be
yeah, I'll
splendid.
send you one.
Listen, if you mail it to me, you will see it in my Instagram reels. I will use it.
She said she's signing up for your class. This Chloe W says she is signing up for your class. Just to let
Cool,
you know.
cool.
Uh,
Cool,
um,
cool. emusicentertainment.net.
you
And by
hear
the
it?
way, for everybody on here, I'm doing a free webinar Black Friday. Free webinar. That's the 26th. I think it's 7 p.m. You
Mm-hmm.
go to my Instagram. The link is actually there. And you know what it's about?
What's that?
I'm doing it with another radio show host because everybody was hitting her up, asking
Mm-hmm.
her two things about finances and how to roll out a single. And I have to tell you something else. I did a poll of everybody who who had taken my course.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and I spoke to a lot of people who took the course in length and depth. You want to hear something really funny?
Mm-hmm. What's that?
What did all the men think was the most important thing in the music business?
So are these like up and comers, like not knowing anything?
This is like a mixture of indie labels, managers, artists, but all men had the
Mm-hmm.
same number one answer. What do you think it was?
The song.
She said music. Chloe said music. Nope.
Mm-hmm. I say the song too.
Nope. Money.
Oh.
What did all the women say? I think this is such a
Image.
sociological profile that it's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating.
What
What did they say?
I say image.
No, but pretty close.
What was it?
They said relationships, networking.
Oh.
So men
Yeah.
go to work for a living and they're the earners, and
Mm-hmm.
women raise families,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So they literally split right along that line. Men said money, and women
Mm-hmm.
said community,
Relationship,
networking,
yeah,
relationships.
Yeah.
Because men think if they have the money, they can make it work, and women think if they have the relationships, they can make
They
it
can
work.
make it work. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they're both right to some degree.
Yeah.
But
They both
I
have a
thought it
point.
was fascinating.
Mm-hmm. They both have a point, and those are both keys to it. But it takes more, of course, as we know.
Right. So
Yeah.
the other woman, who her name is Kia, she had put out something on her radio show, like what are the things that people are indie artists most struggling with, and they
Mm-hmm.
said how to roll out a single and finances. So me and her are doing a webinar, and it's going to be how can you roll out a single for $500, and
Really?
it's free. Yes.
Y'all hear
So
this? The ones that are still tuning in, check her out. Check her out on eMusic Entertainment at Instagram. So for
sign up, register for it. It's free. It'll be Black Friday.
Black Friday special, y'all. So for our listeners, before we go, where so they can catch you at eMusic, is there anything else that you want them to know before we close the show?
Yeah, I think they should go to my website, emusicentertainment.net, not com. I have some artists on .com, but if you want to get educated, it's .net.
.net.
And I got a blog. I have free checklists. I have a handbook on the music business. I have a guide on NFTs, and I have a course. I have consulting available. And coming in January, I partnered with KEPS, who worked for Universal. He was president of Bungalow for 15 years. And we will be doing some new innovative things on the Rock Room. So stay tuned.
That's dope. Yeah. Well, we thank you again. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but you know how it is.
Listen, I'll come back, and next time I'll be set up, and I'll have the time right.
We most definitely gonna have to do it
Put on
again.
the fly at 9 p.m.
See, and that's why I'm gonna have to look at that, because I think you just looking at the East Coast times, and it's kind of like. But you're probably right though, because I had a couple
Facebook,
of different flyers going.
I took with the picture and I posted it everywhere, and it said 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
yeah, see, I
that's a
messed
little
up.
bit of, and then I was trying to put the setup together, and the phone was on very little battery, so this is a little bit of the glitch. So I'll come back
Well,
in a few months.
that would be my bad if that's what really happened. I will say that much. Let's see, get this out of here.
Go check my Instagram, you'll see.
Yeah, like oops. I did an oopsie. Well, yeah. Well, thanks again, for tuning in. I'm a chat with you, probably in the next couple of days. I want to talk business with you. I want to thank everybody that tuned in with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Check out emusicentertainment.net. Check out SquirrelTownMO business.com. Check out both of our Instagrams. And until next time, we are out. Oh,
Wait,
okay.
1 second.
Oh, one more.
Chloe said that's how I got here at 9.
Oh, Chloe, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Chloe.
I'm proven innocent.
Well, guess what, though? The good thing is that this will be on my channel. Welcome to Squirrel Town Talk on YouTube. So probably in about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to post it and I'm going to send it out to Debbie. So you will have it. You'll be able to check it out. It's a permanent placement. How about that?
Can't we just redo it and take out all the mess up parts before we make it permanent?
Look at, trust me, they gonna want this. They will want it.
And I want my sweatshirt so I can sport it on wheels.
I'm gonna send it to you.
My address.
I'm most definitely gonna send it to you. Yep, I got you.
And I want it big.
Okay.
I like them big too.
I got it all the way up to 4X, so yeah, we good.
All right, I don't think that big, but good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to y'all later.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Tell the dog I said goodbye and have a good night.
All right. Good night.
All right.